This is one of those obvious flame-baiting topics that simply must be done. Subjectivity be damned. If nothing but for our own sake, as we all have opinions of who should get to fight who, that now have finally been settled. Half of these contenders are Nintendo's own properties who have yet to emerge from the Big N's umbrella, and the other half are third-party heroes that have lived some of their greatest adventures on Nintendo hardware. With your suggestions in mind and almost 30 years of history to consider, we present the top 10 Smash challengers that we want to see. Tetris might be an odd pick, but its Nintendo lineage is undeniable, being the pack-in card for the original Game Boy, with the NES version shifting millions of copies as well. So how would the Tetris blocks, or to use the vernacular, Tetriminos, smash and bash? Despite the L block's popularity, let us introduce the Tetris Man. Attacks from his limbs and elongated head would give him a pugilistic primal feel. The more extravagant moves and assists would bring in some Soviet heritage like furry hats, Matryoshka nesting dolls, Rasputin, and communism. Hey, if Wii Fit Trainer and Mr. Game & Watch made it in, anything's possible. Though Mario's continued his RPG trek through the realms of paper, puzzles, and stickers, how soon we forget the game that started it all, let alone one of its brightest, shining stars. If we were to plant a wish on Star Hill, it would be the opportunity to pull the strings of Geno, the mystical mannequin who helped Mario in his cause to rid Smithy from the land. With star shots, lasers, and energy discs galore, we envision him to be a worthwhile addition to the cast, whose unique appearance and timing-based mechanics could make him a potent projectile-based contender against the likes of Mega Man. Just be sure to steer clear of the villager. If you want Reggie Fils-Aimé, Shigeru Miyamoto, Satoru Iwata, or even your grandparents to pummel the daylights out of Kirby or Donkey Kong, then this is your chance. The roundish avatars have come to visually represent the current Nintendo Wii culture and are much more recognizable than the Wii Fit Trainer. Plus, with the customization angle, you could potentially create any fighter you wanted. Powers could extend through the Wii U's social features like bringing in friends as support characters, using equipment from Wii Sports, or using the Mii Plaza as an arena. Since the smashing began, fans have cried for the original veiny adventurer to become an official member of the Nintendo Fight Club. His design writes itself into the Smash Bros. Excel sheet without much effort. His abilities are obviously tied to his tools, much like Zelda, and he's most devastating at close range when he can cross you with his whip, either grappling you closer or lighting you on fire. Knives, holy water, axes, crosses, everything Simon and his clan have wielded in the series' long legacy of action combat. And please use the old Simon Belmont and not the glamour queen from Castlevania Chronicles. Believe it or not, a majority of the games in the Kingdom Hearts series have appeared on Nintendo platforms, so it would make sense to see Sora join the roster as a third-party member. We want to see the Keyblade wielder in action on the battlefield, using sword-based attacks to send opponents flying, and using magic to keep them at bay from a distance. The inclusion of the Kingdom Hearts series would also mean the possibility for other elements to trickle in, like a stage for Sora based on his homeworld of Destiny Islands, or a final smash that could include Kairi and Riku or Donald and Goofy joining up for a triple threat attack that would knock the socks off their adversaries. With Konami, Sega, Capcom, and likely Namco Bandai represented in Smash, it's only fitting Square Enix gets in on the action.
What?
Back during the heyday of the NES, there was a short-lived television series about a young boy named Kevin, who was sucked into a game world known as Videoland. He would become known as Captain N, the Game Master, and lived the ultimate fantasy of almost every Nintendo fan. It's about time for Nintendo to revive one of its long-lost icons. Kevin's unique moves would include his trusty Zapper Gun, and the NES controller belt with special abilities to freeze time with the pause button, jump higher with the A button, or move faster with the B button. When playing on his Videoland stage, classic characters like Pit, Mega Man, and Link would change appearance to look more like their cartoon counterparts. As Chrono Trigger's Frog says to the game's main character, Chrono, "You hath potential to be a good swordsman." Well, we say he has the potential to be a good Smash character. This spiky-haired, time-traveling, katana-wielding hero is an SNES-era legend and has plenty of techs to tear up the competition, using lightning magic and ranged moves like Wind Slash to supplement good old-fashioned swordsmanship. Maybe Frog himself could get in on the action, arriving just in time to team up for an X-Strike. Sure, it's another character with a sword, but we think Chrono is versatile enough to stand out.
Just a dash of puzzle solving here.
Thanks to the folks at Level 5, the good professor has become a prevalent, popular personality on Nintendo's handhelds. His quaint European style has already made the successful leap to 3D, and he's no slouch with the fencing foil. Layton's trademark top hat could double as a bottomless trove of good-mannered mischief, with his assistant Emmy and protege Luke popping out to get in some licks, using matchsticks, hamsters, and other logic puzzle staples to confound and eventually dislodge their opponents.
Hang on to your hat.
No one said you could touch.
Sure, she might be a little on the risque side for a series barely pushing PG, but there are few femme fatales we'd rather see than Platinum Games' own Bayonetta. Not only would she bring her unique brand of stylish action, provocative poses, and hair-based magical attacks, but it also makes perfect sense too. Nintendo did rescue this sexy sorceress from the brink of cancellation, giving the once-lost sequel a second chance at the spotlight on the Wii U. The only question now is the most important one of all: long or short hair. In 1987, Nintendo had a problem with the NES version of Punch-Out! Both boxers needed to be visible from a third-person perspective. Designers chose to make the protagonist smaller than his opponents. Little Mac was born. For some, the diminutive fighter is a metaphor for kids standing up to adults. For others, he's David against King Hippo's Goliath. He's the Nintendo icon for courage against overwhelming odds, and one of the few faces who is actually employed as a full-time pugilist. His boxing attacks fit right into Smash, including moves he could copy from his old opponents like Bald Bull and Macho Man, and his 8-bit legacy provides more than enough distinction. No other character deserves to be in the pantheon of Nintendo heroes more than Little Mac.